Hey, hi, welcome guys. Welcome back to our channel, which is Fibron. Today, I'm going to discuss about the linear regression, and also we will see what are the problems we are going to face with the linear regression algorithm, right? So before going to start, I would like to set some agendas for today's session. So today I'm going to, which we already discussed in my last video, type of supervised learning. Again, I'm going to recall once. So type of supervised learning, various regression algorithm, then advanced regularization technique like ridge regularization. What is the use of regularization techniques? Why we are going to use this regularization technique? Logistic regression, accuracy matrix. Once it is done, then we will move to the linear regression. This is already I had discussed in my last video, and now I'm going to discuss about the regression algorithm. What is the regression algorithm basically? So today, I'm going to discuss about the linear regression, and after that, we will see there is a different kind of regression algorithm we had discussed in the last video, like a linear regression algorithm, multiple regression algorithm, polynomial regression algorithm. And after that, we will see ridge regression, lasso regression, and elastic regression, right? So now I'm going to discuss about the linear regression. Basically, what is the linear regression is here. Linear regression is the statistical model used to predict the relationship between the independent and dependent variable. What do you mean by this? Basically, what do you mean by this exactly? I would like to highlight this. So let's suppose you can say I'm just talking about two parameter like x and y. What is x? X is nothing but it's a independent variable. I can say x is what? It's an independent variable, right? Independent, and this is my dependent variable, right? And now what is that? Independent, it as x is independent variable, so whatever value I can assign to x, I can assign to the x, and behalf of that x, whatever value we will get that y, the y is dependent on the x, right? So y is basically is what? Dependent variable, which is going to be depend on the x. So linear regression model or algorithm is going to define how your x is getting relationship with the y, right? So basically you can take an example like this is me, and this is my father. So what is the relationship between me and my father? That is going to be established by my linear regression algorithm, right? And so now how we are going to be done these things, we will see. So linear regression you understood, right? So next, so examine two factor in case of linear regression. Whenever you are going to apply linear regression algorithm, you have to apply two factor. One factor is how closely x and y is related. One thing is how closely x and y is related. Next, linear regression give a number between the 1 and -1. -1 is indicating that, means basically, suppose you want to establish one relationship between the x and y. So what you can do, we have to make a relationship between x and y. So how I can say how x is related to the y? So how much x is getting related with the y? So you can say if x value is 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and behalf of that y I am getting 2, 3, 4, right? So as x value is going to be increased, y value is getting increased. So it's, you can say it's a highly positive correlation between the x and y. So whenever if you are going to increase the x and y is also, means dependent variable is also getting increased, then it is known as the positive correlation. Basically positive correlation, right? Positive correlation. So that value is going to denote by the +1. -1 in the sense of is what? -1 is indicating that if, let's suppose, if I'm increasing the x 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, and if I'm going to decrease the x, y value is going to be increased 1, 2, 3. So it's don't you think so? It's going to be negative relationship. Means if I'm increasing the x, y value should get increased, then it should show the positive correlationship or positive relationship. But now if I'm increasing the x, y value is getting decreased. So this concept is known as the negative correlation. And this relationship, if I'm going to establish the correlation between the x and y, then I can say there is a negative relationship or -1 relationship between the x and y. Hope you got the clear picture about this between the correlationship, right? So yeah, so let me clear this diagram. So next, 0 means there is a 1 and -1 we understood. If there is a relationship, means if with the behalf of the x, if y is also increasing, then it's a positive relation, means +1. and -1 in the opposite, means if we are increasing the x and y is getting decreased, then it's known as the negative correlation. What do you mean by the zero? Means whatever value we are passing the x, let's suppose if I will show you with the number line. So here, if you can imagine, this is the number line. Whatever value of x we are passing, let's suppose right now I am giving here 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So behalf of the x, whatever y value is there, suppose at the value of 0 y value is 2, at the value of 1 y value is still 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. So y 2, 2, 2, 2 means 3, 3. At the value of x of 3, y value is still 2, so y is not getting changed. So that time we can say zero correlation. It means there is no relationship between the x and y. Means whatever value, independent value is getting increased, behalf of that y value or dependent variable, you can say there is no change in the dependent variable, then it is known as the zero correlation. Hope you got the clear picture about the first type. Okay, examine two factor. Out of two factor we got the first factor, right? We got the clear picture about the first factor. Now I'm going to discuss about the second factor, what we are going to consider during the apply of the linear regression. Say predictions. Basically, what is the prediction? See, when the relationship between the x and y is known, used to predict the future, we used to predict the future value of y. Basically what you can see, let's understand this thing also. Okay, so this is a complete mathematic, don't worry. So if I'm going to write draw this line, this is the what, this is the straight line. What is the equation? If anyone remember, then you can recall this. The equation of this straight line, I'll make it a different color. Y is equal to mx plus c, right? This equation we had learned in our 5 or 6 standard, right? This is the equation of a straight line, right? So basically linear regression is nothing but we are going to write a mathematical equation which express the equation of the straight line, nothing else. And what is the m? Basically in here, m is the slope, m is the what, slope. This thing we already discussed in my previous video. And c is y, what, y intercept. Okay, so y intercept. What is the need of the c? I'll see. Let's suppose if c is 0, let's suppose for a while, if c is 0, so what do you mean by this? So y is equal to mx. What do you mean by this? Means a straight line which is passing from the origin, right? This is my, sorry, my drawing is not that much of correct, but you can feel, means this is straight line, but a straight line which is passing from the 0, because y intercept is 0, means this line, this straight line, black color wala line, is not cutting anywhere to the y axis. So this kind of line is known as the line which is passing from the origin, basically. So what is this line is saying, when the relationship between the x and y is known, used to predict, means once you understand the relationship, right? Now see, I'm saying that at the value of 1, y value, at the value of 0 of x, means at the value of x equal to 0, y is 0, right? At the value of 1, y is 1. At the value of 2, y is 2. So we got the relationship between x and y, right? So now what I can say, in future, suppose 6 came, in future x is equal to 6 came, so what should be the value of y? Value should be 6. We are able to predict. Suppose in future, value got 1000, what the value of y should be? 1000 or 100, sorry, 100, right? So we got the relationship. Once you establish the relationship between the dependent and independent variable, we are going to use that predictions to predict the future coming things, right? Okay, cool. So once this is done, then by fitting a regression line and represent a linear equation. Linear equation is what? Y is equal to mx plus c. As I already just now discussed about the guys, what is y? Y is equal to mx plus c, right? So here in this equation, m is what? A. M is what? A. And c is what? B. Okay, so this ax plus b. So basically annotation wise everything is quite same, means you can annotate by any way whatever you want to do, right? So basically let's come to the next slide. And similarly, this is the known as the simple linear regression. In again, in real time you will not face this kind of problem, means you might not going to deal with this linear regression, simple linear regression problem. But yes, as in order to understand the concept, linear regression is very important. Without that you cannot do anything, right? Next, coming to the multiple linear regression. And what do you mean by the multiple linear regression? Here you can say means basically I would like to annotate here. So basically here y is depend only on x, right? But let's suppose you are going to crack the GRE exam. You are going to crack the GRE exam, right? In case of GRE examinations, if you will focus only one subject, then you might not crack the GRE examination, right? You have to focus different subject. There is a different subject on that you have to focus, like a subject, you can say x1, x2, x3, right? x4, x5, right? So let's suppose your focus is only on x and you are not focusing on this, then will are you able to crack the GRE examination? No, right? So in order to crack my GRE examination, I have to focus parallelly on all those subjects. It might be different. Your area of interest will be sometime on the x3, on x1. It might be different, but you have to focus everywhere, right? Then your GRE examination will get cracked, right? The cracking of the GRE examination is dependent on your this subject, how much focus you are providing on these different subjects or different domain, you can say. That much GRE score you will get, right? So the GRE score is going to define going to be defined by the different parameter like x1, x2, x3, x4, right? And x5, right? So this multiple parameter is going to be defined my GRE score basically. So I'm coming to the conclusion right now. So multiple linear regression is what? When your target column, this is my target column basically, this is my target. When your target is going to be depend on the multiple factor, then you should apply the multiple linear regression. Again, multiple linear regression is the base, means it's defined on the behalf of the linear regression only. In case of linear regression, we are focusing only one parameter, y is equal to mx plus c, but in case of multiple linear regression, we are going to focus different parameter like m1x1 plus m2x2 plus m3x3, like different parameters, right? Hope you got the clear picture about the multiple linear regression. Mathematics wise, we will see all those things. Now just theoretical concept you should clear. Okay, so multiple linear regressions if you understood. Now let's see the equation of multiple linear regression. That's just now I discussed about this. M1, M2, M3 are the slope associated with the different state line basically, right? And x1, x2, x3, xn are means it's a independent variable. As I already told you, in case of GRE examination, there is a different subject you have to be focused, then only you can crack the linear GRE examination. So y is here dependent variable, m1, m2, m3 dot mn is the my independent variable, slope, and this is the coefficient. What is the need of coefficient? Is nothing but it's the intercept of y basically. Type of regression, right? So basically you can say third regression techniques, I can say polynomial regression. What do you mean by the polynomial regression? See, in case of linear regression sheet or multiple regression sheet, if you observe or not, I don't know. So everywhere my power of dependent and independent variable is always one. If you might see in the multiple linear regression sheet also m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus m4 x4, right? m4 x4 plus c, right? So everywhere my power is one, power of dependent or independent variable, everywhere my power is one. But I'm talking about the polynomial regressions. If you can see equation of state line, equation of circle, equation of hyperbola, equation of parabola, equation of ellipse, everywhere we could see the power might be something x to the power x squared plus y squared, something blah blah blah, right? So this kind of things we had seen, means there is a dependent variable is there which having power more than one. So whenever you are going to deal this kind of problem, then you should apply the polynomial linear regression, right? Hope you get the clear picture about this. Now coming to this, polynomial regression is applied when data is not formed in a straight line, as you already knows, because there is a in this kind of equation we are getting x to the power 2 3 something, so it never be a straight line. Okay, it is used to fit the linear model to a non-linear data by creating a new feature from their power of non-linear features, right? Now, example of quadratic equation, you can take a quadratic equation example, and this is the my linear regression problem, and this is my polynomial regression. Means whenever your data is something, let's suppose we have to, I'll give one more example, don't worry. Okay, let's suppose I have this kind of data, I have this kind of data, and this is the data, this is the data. Let's suppose I have to segregate this dot and cross. So I cannot draw a straight line because none of the straight line can segregate these three dots, right? So I have to make a line like this. It's a kind of, curve shape. Okay, so we have to, whenever you have to segregate this kind of problem, and you have to basically you have to draw a not a it means in the straight line we are not able to segregate this kind of problem. So that moment of time we have to apply polynomial regression, right? Okay, cool. Now coming to the next topic, what we are going to, and now accuracy metric. Coming to the accuracy, we understood the model, and now we have to define the accuracy of my model. Means once you create a model, after that what is next, we have to define our model accuracy, how good our model it is, and how good my model is going to predict my data, right? Basically I'll show you with the diagram. So in this diagram, this is my data point. Basically this is my different data point, you can say this is my different data point, and this is my best fit line. Best fit line means my model define this line. Okay, and now behalf of this model I'm going to say in future something new value of x will come. This is x, this is nothing but this is y. Okay, so in future something x, new value of x will come. So what should be the predicted y value? So my model is going to predict here something at this point. Similarly, this is the x, let's suppose this is the x value of 1, and my model is going to predict at the value of x equal to 1, my model is going to predict something this, but actual value of x is what, this one. So there is a difference between this, my predicted value, and my actual value. So you can say here also, if you can observe this point, at this point, suppose my x value is 5, at the value of x is equal to 5, my model is going to predict this point, right? But actual value of x is what, this one. So there is a difference between these 2 points. So this is known as the error term. If you can see, this is nothing but this is known as the error term. I just made a slide also, don't worry. So next, this is what, this is my model is going to predict. So this is nothing but predicted data, right? And this is what, this is the actual data, right? So let's me show with the slide so you will get the clear picture. So you can see this is the predicted value, this is the error term, this is the actual value, right? Don't worry, don't think much about this. This is the very simple concept. You create a model, and model is going to predict something, but actual value is something different. The difference between the actual and predicted value, that is nothing but is known as the error. So how the error term we can calculate? So in order to calculate the error term or accuracy of your model, we are going to define a new term which is known as the R squared. What do you mean by the R squared? Basically, R squared is nothing but y actual value. This is my y actual value. You can say this is my y actual value. I'll annotate this. This is my y actual value, and this is my predicted value. So every point, for this point, for right now, we are considering only this 2 point. So here you can say y actual value. Let's suppose here y actual value is 6, and predicted my y is going to be predict something 6.5. So what we can do, R square value 1 minus for this point we are considering. I'm not putting summation here. So my, at this point, my y actual value is 6 and predicted is 6.5 ka whole square divided by y actual. What is the y actual here? 6 minus y mean. Again, what is, how you will calculate the y mean? Basically, in this line there is a multiple points are there. At this, in this line there is a multiple point, you can add and divide by that, so you can calculate the y mean. Let's suppose for a while we having m. Okay, and you can calculate something y squared value, like let's suppose 16%, you will get 16. Okay, so r square value, always lies between, r square value is always lies between 0 to 100, 0 to 100. So how r square is going to define your accuracy of the matrix, how the r square is going to define your accuracy of the matrix, that we are going to see. Let's suppose in this equation only, r square is the most common matrix to judge the performance of the regression model, and so r square always lies between 0 to 100, as I already told you. And how r square is going to define your accuracy of the matrix? Let's suppose performance of the linear regression square of area, square of area and price return r square value is 16. This means what? Means you, whatever model you define, that model is able to predict a 16% accurate data, accurately price. Means you want to buy one plot, suppose you want to buy this plot, and your model, you run this model, hey model, you told to your model, hey model, I want to buy this plot, so what should be the expected price of this model? So model is going to say, sir, this should be $17, means $700, let's suppose $700. So now you will check the r square. Okay, so you have to think, right, like this, whether my whatever model is saying, whether it is correct or not, so what you can do, you can go to the r square matrix, and you will ask to the r square model matrix, hey matrix, whether whatever model is saying, how good it is, means how accurate it is. So r square will say, no, it is 16% accurate only, means whatever he is saying, it's 16% you can consider. Apart from that 84%, you have to take a risk on you, right? So this is saying by the r square matrix. Hope you got the clear picture about this, right? So don't you think so much more about that? We will see all those things. Now coming to the next topic, what is the next is adjacent r square. Basically what we are going to discuss, adjacent r square. What do you, r square you understood, right? Now coming to the adjacent r square, the disadvantages of the with the r square is that it assumes every independent variable in the model. Okay, so basically what is that? So let's suppose you having this is my dependent variable, and this is my equation, x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus m4 x4, right, and plus c, right? So in case of r square, the disadvantage of r square is what? The disadvantage with r square is that it assumes every independent variable in the model explain variations, right? So means what is that? Means r square will consider each and every independent variable, at their place to calculate the r square value, and it will consider each independent variable variations also. So in the dependent variable, so using r square, we might be face some error, means it will not suit for the multiple linear regression. Means if you are going to deal with the multiple linear regression like this, then r square value, r square is not a good matrix to judge a model. So in order to overcome this kind of problem, adjacent r square came into the picture. How it is going to overcome my problem? Let's discuss about that also. Okay, so basically I just now told you the disadvantage of r square, what is the disadvantages of the r square. Now how it is going to overcome my r square disadvantages of the r square? It's just going to, you know, it's just going to means manipulate their formula. And in case of this, so p is what? P is the number of predictor basically, and n is what? Number of data point, nothing else. That's all. So hope you understood with the r squared and adjacent r squared. Basically r squared is what? R squared, whenever you are going to deal with the simple linear regression problem, then you should apply the r squared. But if you are going to deal with the multiple linear regression problem, you should apply the adjacent r squared only. Now coming to the another function, what is that? Cost function. What do you mean by the cost function? Basically what do you mean by the cost function? Okay, let's suppose this is my data point, this is my data point, this is my data point, and I created one model. Best with this model, best fit line I created, right? Now cost function is what? This is my you can say this is my predicted y, and this is my actual y, this is my actual y, so y hat. So cost function, what is the cost function? Let's discuss about this. So basically mean squared error is also used to measure the performance of the model. Again, R square is also one, means you can say one matrix to check the performance of the model, and mean square error is also one kind of matrix you can say to evaluate the performance of your model, right? How it works, that we are going to see. MSE is known as the mean square error. What we did here, see, this is my predicted value, and this is, sorry, this is my predicted value, this is my predicted value basically, and this is my you can say mean. Okay, this is my mean, this is my predicted, this is my mean. And now what I'm going to say, I'm going to subtract the predicted with the mean and square it up and divide by the number of the, like this we will do all this prediction point, and we will add it up and we will calculate the mean square error. So once your mean square error you will get, you can calculate the RMSE also, just square it that. So how, means if your RMSE is more, if your RMSE is more, then performance of the model is bad. But keep this mind. If your RMSE value is more, don't you think so? See how much difference you will get between the prediction and mean. Means your model is not predicting good, right? So RMSE, basically once your RMSE is going to be increased, then your performance of the model will be decreased, basically I could say. Okay, now so where n is the thing we already discussed. N is what? Number of data point. Y is what? Predicted value of the model, right? So hope you understood this cost function also. Now coming to the evaluation of the coefficient. Okay, so how it is going to be work, evaluation coefficient. So in case of linear regression, p value, as we already discussed what is the p value in case of a statics problem. When we solve the statics problem, I discussed what is the p value. P value is nothing but probability of acceptance or rejection of the null value, nothing else. Basically what is the use of this coefficient? Basically I would like to say here, suppose you are going to deal with the multiple linear regression problem, and you wrote m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3, right, and plus c, m3 x3 plus c, right? And now so let's suppose this here only three parameter, three independent, but in real time if you are going to deal with the deep learning concept, there is a thousand independent variable we will get, pixels value. So at that point, if you are going to deal with this means let's suppose if you are going to deal with that kind of problem, we have, let's suppose, means thousand of independent variable, so if we will consider all those point means 1 to 1000, then it might be my model will get confused and it will hang to analyze. So in order to overcome this kind of problem, we are going to discuss about the evaluating coefficient, how it works. Basically for each coefficient we will calculate the p value. How we will calculate that we will see. Okay, so we will calculate the p value, and after calculating the p value, we having the matrix, if p value is less than 0.05, what is the 0.05? It's a level of significance. And what is the level of significance? We had discussed in our statics class. Okay, so whoever not watched that video, I'm humble requesting to all of you guys, first watch that video. So if your p value is less than 0.05, then you have to reject the null hypothesis. Means h naught. Okay, meaning variable have some effect. Means suppose you are going to calculate for the x1, you are going to calculate the p value for the x1. If p value is less than 0.05, then x1 is the important factor. You cannot skip this x1. Similarly, you can calculate for the x2, x3, x4, blah blah blah, everyone, and after that you can find key which uh, independent variable is important, right? Hope you understood. Okay, cool. So basically this I would like to say, if p value is less than 0.5, reject the null, meaning variable have some effect, means you cannot skip that variable. Similarly, p value is greater than 0.05, then null value means accept the null value, and meaning is that is a no effect on this model, so we can reject that value, right? Okay, cool. Now next is what we are going to discuss about adds a time for coding, means whatever we had discussed so far, now we are going to implement this thing in the coding section, and that video you will see in next session, right? Thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoyed this session. If you really like this video, means if it is really help to understand the concept, then nothing going to be happen if you click on the subscribe button. Thanks you guys.